So board meeting 12:04 p.m. Should we have a roll call?
Yes.
Or the pledges first. I'm sorry.
Pledge of Allegiance. Okay.
I'll let Mr. Vinatieri lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, let's stand. Hand over your heart. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Justice for all.
Thank you. Now shall we get to roll call, please?
Yes. Vice Chair Sulik,
Aye. You
Member
here?
Vinatieri,
Here.
Member Batanco,
Here.
Member Lewis,
Here.
Member Sanchez,
Here.
Member Rounds.
Here.
Excellent. Thank you all for being here. I hope you guys had a great Easter. We're glad to see a new board member, Mr. Rounds. Welcome.
Thank you, Ivan.
Your election. Now we're going to get to public comments. Is there any member of the public wishing to provide public comment? If you're online, please make yourself known and we shall acknowledge you and allow you to provide public comment. Seeing none, I will close public comment at 12:06 p.m. and move on.
Mr. Chair, point of privilege.
Yes, please, Mr. Vinatieri.
We talked about before you're on. I'd like to walk on an agenda item to commend Chair Mora on his years of service and faithfulness. And I'd like to put that on the agenda today so that next time at our next meeting, we can invite him to come and give him a certificate or whatever commendation, whatever we normally do. So I'd like to make that motion. And I think, Kurt, we're going to need to have, what, 4 of us?
Yes.
I'll second. I support that.
We have a motion on the floor in a second. Mr. Executive Director, please take the roll.
Vice Chair Sulik,
Aye.
Member Vinatieri,
Aye.
Member Batanco,
Aye.
Member Lewis,
Aye.
Member Sanchez,
Aye.
and Member Rounds.
Aye.
And the motion was made by Joe and second was by Ivan, is that correct?
No, by
Monica.
Dr. Sanchez.
Oh, Dr. Sanchez, sorry. And before we proceed, Mr. Vice Chair Sulik, I want to apologize and maybe say that we should probably move number 8, which is the nomination of a new SASPA board chair, to the beginning, to right now before we approve anything else.
All right. So we will move item 8 to the front because Mr. Mora, our previous chair, is no longer with us. We are now to nominate a new chair to continue with the proceedings. So, is there any nominations for open nominations for chair?
I nominate Ivan Sulik.
I'll second that.
Oh, thank you. All right, seeing that there's any other nominees? Seeing none, I guess, do we need a vote or?
By acclamation.
Yeah, can we just do it by acclamation? All in favor, say aye.
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 And then
Great.
Chair Sulik, part of this item would also ask that we nominate a vice chair since you're leaving the position.
Yes, is opening up the nomination for vice chair.
I'll nominate Joe Vinatieri.
No, I'll decline. Thank you. I'll nominate Dr. Monica Sanchez.
Yeah, Dr. Sanchez, I'll second that.
I second that.
I'll accept.
All right, seeing the motion, the nomination that has been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Congratulations, Dr.
Yes.
Sanchez, the new vice chair.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ivan and Monica.
Thank you, John.
As a point of order, I'm wondering whether we should do a roll call for this item because it does require one. I don't know if we can go by just a consensus.
Sure. Whatever makes you feel better on the record.
Would you like me to do the roll call, Chair Sulik?
Yes.
Chair Sulik,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sanchez,
Aye.
Member Vinatieri,
Aye.
Member Batanco,
Aye.
Member Lewis,
Aye.
Member Rounds.
Aye.
And thank you, Chair Sulik and Vice Chair Sanchez for filling those roles. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for believing in us,
Oh, yeah.
allowing us to do this. So moving on, back to items, item 1. So I see that items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all minutes. And so if no one has any objection, maybe a motion to just approve items 1 through 6 to be expeditious unless,
So moved.
do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to move items 1 through 6. Mr. Executive Director, please take the roll.
Chair Sulik,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sanchez,
Aye.
Member Vinatieri,
Aye.
Member Batanco.
Uh,
I think that's an aye from Mario. Member Lewis,
Aye.
Member Rounds.
I'd like to abstain since I was not present.
Oh, okay, thank
Okay.
you, Mr. Rounds.
All right, so motion passes. 5 to 1. Well, 5-0. The abstain. Moving on, item number 7, authorization warranty resolution to submit a proposal to the County of Los Angeles Aging and Disabilities Department's request for proposal solicitation number AAA SSP 2324 Supportive Services Program services on behalf of the Southeast Social Services Authority. Mr. Director.
This is an item we bring before the board. It's a requirement for us when we apply for, to provide supportive services through their request for proposals. They require that the board approve an authorization warranty for us to do so. Both to submit the proposal and to authorize the executive director to sign the proposal and bind SASFA to any resulting contract. Supportive services program is a program that works with our senior population, and it's basically a case management program. We've had this program for many, many years. This is the cycle of the RFP that comes up every 3 to 4 years that we're applying for. And we are submitting a proposal, getting it together right now. It's due on Tuesday. And it's here for the board's review and hopefully approval.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Director, please take the roll.
Chair Sulik,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sanchez,
Aye.
Member Vinatieri,
Aye.
Member Batanco.
Aye.
Member Lewis,
Aye.
Member Rounds.
Aye.
All right, moving right along. We did item 8. Now item number 9, quarterly treasurer's report of cash on hand for the quarter ending in December of 2020. Is Heidi leading us in this?
She's here. I'll give an opening statement to it.
Okay.
This is we're required to provide a quarterly treasurer's report to the board. There's 2 here. One is for the quarter ending December 2022, and another for March 2023. It's here for the board's review and hopefully approval.
Okay.
I do have a couple questions.
Yes, the gentleman from Whittier is recognized.
Thank you, sir. You're so formal. Okay. Hey, I want to ask a question on page 2. And I actually had some time to go through this. So let me ask, down at the bottom where it says CalPERS, there's 3 CalPERS charges, and then it's also over on the next page, there's a couple of them. So are these payments made to CalPERS for our employees, I assume, right?
That's either CalPERS contribution, member contribution, and employer contribution. We have to report to the CalPERS every bi-weekly. Then submit to the CalPERS for employer and employee contribution, the first one. And the second one is we pay an accrued liability. The third one is we pay for the health insurance. through
Okay, so is this something, is this done every month or is it done quarterly? I mean, this is for Heidi, you, Kurt, everyone else, right?
Yes, we have to pay every month.
Okay, okay. Got it. That's helpful. And I also had a question, and I know this is it's probably too anal, but I want to make sure I understand how this is tied together. I note over, for example, on the next page, or excuse me, on the first page, there's an ending balance of 184,323. So this is as of, I'm assuming 12/31 30 or 12/30 22. And if we go over to page 21 on item 10, this is the statement of cash receipts and dispersals. And it's dated, or it says December 2022. That's 134,099. Why is that number different than the number here on the bank account as of 12/30/22?
So here, Heidi. See how this number is this quarterly report is 184,323.
What page? What page?
Page 2
Page 2?
on item 9, right? No, go to item 9. Go to page 2.
And I'm probably doing apples and oranges here, but I just want to see if there's some kind of relationship.
The balance is 184 something, right? The balance is 184,325.
Yeah.
And he's asking why is that not the same as the balance in our statement of cash receipts and dispersals for the same month?
Oh, because 184. 184.
See 184 is here, and then our statements of cash dispersals for December is
What page?
134. This is on item number 10.
This one?
See how this amount is 1,4 something,
Mhm.
and this amount is 1,8. This amount on number page 2 is 184. Why is it not the same?
Oh, because this one in the page number 21, the invoice for the bank, the balance for operating account, payroll account, and program income account. Then we put every month after I finish bank reconciliation, then I will fill out this form for page 21. But for the balance 184, that's only for operating account only.
Oh, okay. So page 21. Page 21 is not the operating account.
Combine 3 account, combine a payroll account, program income account, and operating account.
Okay, so where it says expenses, general operating account, California Bank and Trust, that one says 146,697. Shouldn't that then tie to
Yeah.
page 2, the ending
Yeah.
balance 184?
Because for the bank statement, we write 184, but
Yes.
on page 21, we write only 146. Because for the operating account, we some check not cash yet. Still outstanding check for operating account.
Okay,
But for this report, we report the actual check we cut.
got it. Okay. And I'm sorry to use the board. So I was trying to, I actually was trying to trace through some checks, just, you know, along the lines you're talking about.
Yes,
And if you go to page 3 of tab 9, I did a little bit of just picking and choosing here.
Yeah.
But you'll see there where it says checks processed. If you look in the middle column, take the last item, 56277, dated 12/12 for $300. You see that there?
See that, Heidi?
which one?
See this check here
Uh-huh,
on page 3, 56277. It's for $300.
uh-huh. Yes,
What's your question then, Joe?
Okay, so going over to tab 10, page 22. And this is the monthly check reports that we always get.
Yes.
And I see check 056277 12/12 Alexandria Medina vendor $300. So there it shows up in the monthly check reports, and then that ties to California Bank and Trust. So that makes me feel good because literally it's checks and balances. But go down a little bit, so that ties together. So go down on page 22, and you'll see the one that sticks out there is Trio Community Meals at $69,794.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at that, and I tried to find that back here on page 3, and I don't see it there. And does that mean that the check hadn't been cashed as of the date that the bank gave us, page 3, or how does this work
yeah, the check's still outstanding.
as of that date?
Yeah.
Okay, and so if I sat down and had more time than I really have, I could find that check 56286 for the meals at 69,000. I find that probably in the January report. Am I correct on that?
For this, special for this check,
Yes.
then we check the bank in January. We still contact with the vendor. They say they have not received the check yet. Then I continue check with them. Then finally in March or February, in March, they say they not received the check. Then I call to the bank and stop the payment, and we reissue another one for them.
On this particular one.
Yes,
But you eventually will see that check once it clears in the quarterly report.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, I just obviously I'm cherry picking, but I was just trying to see what the flow is here.
Yeah.
And Heidi, you do a great job. And this is what happens when I stop and I said, I'm not doing anything else. I'm gonna do some SASVA stuff right now. And this is what happens when I do this. So thank you. You give me some warm fuzzy feelings. So I don't have any further questions, Mr. Chair.
Joe, I also want to say I appreciate your questions, Joe. We'd rather have an informed board that is really scrutinizing us than one that's not involved, because that makes sure that our integrity is there.
you can read
Well-
page number 49. You will see I void that check in March 9. And then we cut another one also in the March 9. You see the page 49.
Page 49.
Yes.
Oh, there. Okay. So this is where you did the second check because they never got the first one.
Yes, we vote the first one, then we reissue another one.
Okay. I just, as an aside, thank you for showing me this, because that, corroborates it. I just find it odd that amount of money for this particular vendor, that they would not have been in contact with you or something, because that's a lot of money. And I'm seeing here, I see up there where I guess you credited it out, you voided it, and then you reissued down here, check 56,412. So,
The
Yeah.
board, you can see the page number 10, you see that check cast on March 14.
But you're right, Joe, we were very surprised that that happened too, because we're assuming they're a business and they need the money to, and they want to cash those checks. So that's why Heidi reached out to see what was going on, because it's very unusual, I think, for that to happen, so.
yeah,
It is kind of a flag for us to see what was going on. And we did reach out and try to figure out, let them know this was happening so that they were aware of it too.
yeah.
And, yeah, it is unusual.
Yeah, no, well, that's great. And you know, that guys, thank you for doing that, because this is how we run a business. And the fact that you know, you give me as I said, warm fuzzy feelings, because you're doing this thing properly and accounting for it properly, and you're actually following up on it with them the way that we're supposed to do it. So fellow board members, that's, I think, a very, you know, they're doing a great job. The staff's doing a great job.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, if they can make you warm and fuzzy, I mean, that I've never heard that before. So that,
I've been, you know, I've been how should I, accused of a number of things, and generally not Norman Fuzzy. So they did something today that's unusual for me.
right? Any other board members wishing to provide comments, questions?
I'll move 9 and 10.
Hearing none. Is this a receive and file, or do we need to approve these?
Yeah, you need,
Oh yeah, it says approve the statement of cash receipts and dispersals. Okay.
I'll second Joe's motion.
I have a motion for Mr. Rounds.
No, I seconded Joe.
Oh, Joe did the motion. I apologize. Sorry.
Yeah.
Motion from Joe and a second from Mr. Rounds. Mr. Executive Director, please take the roll.
Chair Sulik,
Aye.
Hello,
Vice Chair Sanchez,
Grace, how are you?
Aye.
If you don't
Member
mind.
Vinatieri.
I'm on a aye.
Member Betancourt,
Right.
Aye.
You walk out.
Member Lewis.
I've got a phone call here from the Congresswoman. I'll be right back.
Member Lewis,
I'm sorry,
Aye.
Grace,
and Member Rounds.
Aye.
You know, if you would have said, you know, from the county supervisor, I might have said, okay, sure.
Good one.
Moving on, item number 11. Financial reports by department and total agency for month and year to date at February 2023.
Mr. Chair, did you move 9 and 10 together, or I think we need to do 10 separately?
I thought we did 10. Oh, I got confused. I apologize. Let's do 10 now. I thought we were at 10.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a statement of our cash receipts and dispersals for quite a few months, because we haven't had a board meeting, but it's October, November, December, and January, February. It's basically our check run. And we've went through this, and I don't see anything that's really an outstanding flag to bring before the board. It's here for your review and any questions you might have.
I just had one.
Sure.
I show one for a broken window. Did somebody break our window over there?
Oh, do you know which page that's on, Mr. Lewis?
Page 9. It says page 6 in writing, but 9 in handwriting.
Oh, okay.
It says Vortex replaced broken glass front door and window.
We did have our front door broken. We had to replace the glass.
I'm just wondering if that was intentional by someone. Somebody throw a brick through it, or was it just accidentally broken?
We don't know. We came in the morning and it was broken. So I'm not sure how it happened, but we did file a police report and we did look at our cameras to see if we could tell, but we couldn't get a good picture of the person who did it.
Oh, okay. I'm just wondering if somebody has an axe to grind against SASFA or something.
I hope not.
Trying to find the story behind that, but that's fine. Everything else looks good to me.
Thank you.
Hi, Kirk. I have a question. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Retonko, please.
Yeah, so on page 40, there's a particular expense here. It says Santos for a labor commission case, $3,000. Can you go into more detail what that is exactly is for? Is that for legal fees or
Yes, this was,
what does that entail?
this was a case with the Labor Commission. We had a complaint from one of our past staff. They basically that staff resigned the same day. And we tried to send them a check in the mail. It got returned. We tried to call them. We couldn't get any answer. We finally did hear from them and sent a check to them after that, but about 30 days had expired going through all those checks returned and calling them and all of that. So we did go before the Labor Commission and decided to settle for $3,000 based upon the legalities of that. Because with you need to pay someone who's resigned within, I think, 72 hours. And if you don't, then you have to pay a fee for the time that it took you to get that person the check. In my opinion, we did everything we could to get that person a check. They were not responsive to us. Items got returned. We couldn't get a good address from them. But instead of going to trial and going through all of that and hiring a lawyer, which would have been expensive, we just settled for $3,000. And I don't know if the board remembers, but we did have past personnel cases where the board passed a policy that anything under, I believe it was $5,000, didn't need to be brought before the board as a board item. But that is what this is.
Oh,
Okay. Thank you for the clarification, Kirk. Appreciate that.
I would say that I've been executive director for over 20 years. And this is one of the few personnel cases we've ever had where we've had to pay out any money. So I think that's a good track record.
okay. Any other comments or questions from any other board members? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve item 10?
Move item 10.
I'll second.
Motion in a second. Mr. Executive Director, can you please take the roll?
Yes, Chair Sulik,
Aye.
Member Vinatieri, I'm sorry,
Aye.
Chair Sanchez,
Yes.
Aye.
Member Vinatieri,
Aye.
Member Batanco,
Aye.
Member Lewis,
Aye.
Member Rounds.
Aye.
All right, moving right along. Item number 11, financial reports by department and total agency for month and year to date at February 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This gives the board a snapshot, basically fiscally and somewhat programmatically about where the agency is at this time of year. I'll point out a couple things to you. The nutrition program on page 2 is at expenditures are at 45% of the budgeted amount. And this reflects a couple things. One is that there were several senior centers closed, including Los Nietos, closed in July and August. The Pico Rivera Center closed from July through the November, and the Whittier Senior Center is still being closed. So that has affected the rate that we can bill for. We do, however, plan to provide extra meals to the clients that are in our system now. And we have already put in a request for additional funds to purchase two new vehicles, which we should have in September. And we are starting to catch up now that some of those senior centers have reopened. For care management, we're at 42%. Part of this is because we had 2 of our social workers unfortunately resign at the same time. So we had to do some fancy footwork and hire 2 part-time social workers who will become full-time. So we're catching up on being able to bill for that program. The WHEEL Adult and Dislocated Worker Program on page 3 is at 50%. Actually, that doesn't include tuition fees that we've already paid out. As you went through our check run, you'll see that we paid a lot of tuition fees out. So
Right.
that's really pretty close to where we should be at this time of year. The Invest program's at 38%. That's a program that works with people on probation. Part of that is because we've received a low number of program referrals, but we're doing things like going to the probation officers to do our own referral for this program. So we're working on increasing that amount. LA Rise is the Measure H program that we work with a social enterprise to provide services to homeless individuals and employ them through that social enterprise. They're at 57%, not too far off where we should be. And actually, we're having a lot of discussions with them. They had some staff problems that were causing some problems for us to be able to bill. That's been corrected. And now we're seeing an increase in being able to bill for that program.
I'm sorry, can I jump in?
Sure.
So this is on the homeless situation. And we've talked before about doing all we can to maximize our ability to intervene with homeless individuals who want jobs. So I was glad to see 57% because that, you're more than 50% there, and we're halfway through a little bit more than halfway through the year. At some point, I'd appreciate just a short report on what it is that we're doing in terms of interacting with whomever, LAHSA, I'm assuming, or whoever it is, and maybe just some anecdotal as to being able to find work for people who are asking for jobs, who are currently homeless, to show that we're at least having some kind of impact on the situation. That's important, at least to me.
Okay. We'll put some information together like that. We do attend the Whittier Homeless Consortium. I can't remember the total name of that. Tried to work with the LAHSA providers that are on that consortium too. We attend meetings every month, pretty much. So we are trying to keep our finger on the pulse of trying to guide homeless individuals back into employment, but we can put together a report for you.
Yeah, and that doesn't have to be a lot, but that's obviously it's a hot button issue, I think, for all of us, and showing that we're doing everything we can to meet the need to the extent that we can. I mean, when we have people who are homeless who want a job, that's somewhat unusual because a lot of homeless people, no, that's wrong. There are homeless people who don't want jobs and prefer to live on the street, but those who do want jobs, then we want to do whatever we can to help them out. So I just want to be able to show that we're doing that.
Okay, we will get that together for you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hi, Kirk. This is sorry to interrupt again. I agree with Joe. I think this is about maybe the third or fourth time we've asked for a report like this. So if we can, so that we can have an actual date where we can receive these reports, so maybe by the beginning of next month, and receive their first report. That way we can review the effectiveness of this program. But yeah, if you can please provide a timeline for when we'll get the report.
Yeah, I feel like I've asked this for this before at the last meeting.
Oh, I apologize. We can get that to you. Just
So how long how long do you need? We're gonna pull in LA County right now. Do you need 30 days or 60 day report back?
we'll get it to you at the next meeting, which would be 30 days.
Okay, a 30-day report back.
Mm-hmm. Just so the board is aware, though, this is a small program.
Right.
It's a program that's really geared to help. I think, Francisco, are you on the line? It's at like
Yes.
17 people?
29.
29 people. So that's what we can report on our success working with the goal, because we don't receive any targeted money to help the homeless other than LA Rise. But we do try to help them through our general services.
Yeah, so I want to point out that this is a joint effort between Good Soil, a nonprofit organization, in SASFA. So both of us are funded by the county. We primarily are responsible for the job placement after they get enrolled and participate in the program, supporting services, and providing vocational training if some of them choose and need that kind of a training. So there's a division between the two agencies, and we'll put it down on the report.
Great, thank you.
For the ARPA program, that just got started, so we haven't spent a lot of money on that yet, but we are starting to enroll and recruit participants. For the WEO youth program, we're at 47%.
Wait, can you hold, so what is that, the ARPA, so what is that for? Is that for individuals who've lost their job during the pandemic and now are trying to either get a new job or training for a new job?
That is a general description. Francisco, would you like to flesh that out?
This program is basically an on-the-job training. Those are the services. The clients that qualify are individuals who lost their job due to the COVID-19. That is, if the employer laid them off for that reason, or if they had a family situation, for example, if they couldn't get childcare because of the fact that they had to take care of their children, so they qualify. If they had to take part-time jobs when they lost their regular jobs, if they had to take a reduction in pay from their regular jobs, they are, quote, underemployed. So it's any individual that was impacted in some way in their employment due to the COVID. And it's a 2-year program that we have. It started around October and all around for about 2 years.
Okay.
Any other questions on that?
So if I lost my job due to COVID and I live in Whittier and I need help finding a new job,
You live in Downey, Ivan.
I know I'm make believe.
Okay.
And I need to go into this program. So then would this program assist me in some of my expenses while I'm being trained to get a new job?
You can have access to training, yes. But most of the training, all of the participants, which is going to be about 89, have to get on-the-job training. That means we'll contract with employers to provide additional training or skills training to the individuals.
And
A few can get subsidized training, and there's about 1/3 that can get a combination of vocational training and on-the-job training, but everybody has to get some kind of experience on the job.
Okay.
Yeah, and it does, you don't have to live in Whittier, you can live anywhere in LA County.
Okay.
Did you get that, Ivan?
Yes.
Okay, then for the youth program, for the out of school, we're at 47% of the budgeted amount. Part of that is because a lot of money is put into work experience and supportive services. Work experiences where they go on the job and get some work experience. Part of the issue is a lot of them would like direct job placement rather than that. So that pot of money sits a little bit. We have a challenge spending all of that money. That's why it's at 47%. Youth at Works serves all these different types of youth that are like CalWorks foster, other underserved youth, probation youth, system involved youth. That expenditure is at 66%, so that's pretty much right on track. And that's this report. We're happy to try and answer any other questions the board might have.
Can you send us a flyer or the requirements for the youth program? Definitely, I think we could help in recruitment throughout our cities. I myself work for LACO, and in the summertime especially, I think that might be a high peak where they're looking for jobs, right? So I think we can help maybe with that recruitment. So if you send me a flyer, we can share that and share it on our social media too for the city.
Oh, we will do that. Thank you.
And then Kirk, I don't know if I've asked this before, but did we want to do like a youth job, summer job event? I don't know, I think I've asked that where we were trying to see about a proposal to see what that would look like.
We
I
are,
think it's been done in the past, hasn't it?
yes, we are going to have a youth job fair. It's in my report.
In May,
We already did have one, actually, a youth and community resource fair at Whittier Union Adult School, and that was very, very successful. But we used to have it wasn't necessarily a youth job fair, but it was a community resource fair with your district. Which hasn't happened since the change in supervisors. But,
Yeah, well, let's do it for this summer. That's another 30-day report back I would like. Let's do that. Let's have a proposal in 30 days because I want to do that in the summer.
we have another one in May in combination, in cooperation with the local schools and 2 other regional centers.
No.
I'll volunteer Pico Rivera, Ivan. We're in Janice's district now.
Yes, of course.
There you go.
Okay,
and that's the extent of this report.
Okay, is this just a receive and file?
This is a receive and file.
Receive and file, okay. Moving on, item number 12.
This is also this is a regular report that comes before the board. It gives you a snapshot where we at in the nutrition program as far as performance. I've already covered this a little bit. Basically, we are doing relatively well, except for with the exceptions of the Whittier Senior Center still being closed and trying to catch up from the other senior centers that were closed. And so we're overperforming a little bit in home delivered and underperforming in congregate, but we're right on track and we are catching up to where we should be. And right now we're trying to work with the Whittier Community Center to get a health permit so that we can provide grab and go meals there. We're having a little bit of a challenge with that, but hopefully once that happens, those numbers will start to increase too. And as I mentioned, we'll get 2 new vehicles, which will help increase these numbers before the end of the year. So that's pretty much where we are at with the senior program right now. We're happy to try to answer any questions you might have.
Board members have any questions? Comments, concerns?
So do you see that there's still maybe they favor home delivery versus going to the actual senior centers to go eat still? Or they're just used to it, or fear of COVID again, or what do you think? Or they're just starting to know that the senior centers are reopening?
I think it's a mixture of all of that, but I would definitely say that they're starting to realize the senior centers are reopening, so they are returning. And then some people who we put on home delivered meals when we didn't have congregate meals, those people are starting to return to the senior center, although not all of them, because some of them found out they liked that. But the advantage of the senior center is there's so much social activity there. So a lot of people really like that. So we are seeing a return to those congregate meal sites. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, but still more in-home delivery versus people coming to get the meal.
Yeah, but it's increasing. So we'll probably see that hopefully come back to what we call normal next year or mid-year next year. That's the extent of this report.
And remind me, Kirk, we still do satisfaction surveys or surveys to the seniors?
Yes, we're required to do satisfaction surveys, and we do that. We have them both at the senior site, the congregate site, and we also have them completed for home delivered meals. In addition, we have a monthly me- what we call a site manager driver meeting, and customer satisfaction surveys are reviewed there. And also we get input from the site managers at the congregate sites for anything that they're hearing that seniors would like or don't like, or we could improve upon. So we have a pretty robust customer satisfaction survey program.
Okay. So will we get those soon? Like, do we receive those in a packet or a report when they're done?
SASFA itself gets them every month, which we review. And then we keep them on file and use them to improve our program.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on item 12? Hearing none, we are going to receive and file the Senior Services Financial Status Report. Going to item 13, the Executive Director's Report. Mr. King.
Thank you, Chair Sulik. This is also a monthly item the board receives. A lot of it we've already talked about, so I won't go through as far as necessarily how each of the programs are doing. I think you have a somewhat of a picture of that. We're doing relatively well. We are having some difficulties attracting new staff, but we're trying to work through that. I would point out a couple that we are having a lot of recruitments at our center. We have a recruitment for jobs every other week. Some of those have included LAPD, New Wave Homes, Child Care Careers, core staff, MST drivers. We do have a homeless and justice involved resource and job fair coming up. Also a virtual job fair with several employers. We have a really big Pico Rivera job fair, as I'm sure Dr. Sanchez is aware of. And a youth career expo in May. So we really are trying to get the word out that we're here to provide services to individuals. For the workforce services, I did want to let the board know, which is page 5 of this report, that every 3 to 4 years, SASFA has to reapply to be an America's Job Center of California through the County of Los Angeles procurement process. That RFP was released in March. It's due in June 22nd. There are some changes to our, what we would call regular services. One is that they want us to incorporate North Star principles, which is equitable outcomes, inclusive economic growth, economic mobility, climate resiliency, and job quality. It also asks us to choose to be a population-based and a sector-based entity, which means that, for example, population-based, we'll choose a certain population like limited English speaking or persons with disabilities, and be the AJCC that is sort of the expert in that population. One of the other big changes is that it also asks us to identify a local community-based organization, a nonprofit that we would pair with. That nonprofit needs to be providing a reflection of what our workforce services are, and they need to have an annual budget of less than 1.5 million. They'll receive a separate contract with the County of Los Angeles of $200,000 to work with us. So right now we're canvassing the community to see what nonprofits might fit those characteristics. Actually, just for our Santa Fe Springs member, Mr. Lewis, we are meeting with your Chamber of Commerce on Monday for their Youth Enrichment Fund to see whether they could be a nonprofit that we could work with. But any of the board that knows of a small nonprofit that would sort of fit this bill, we would love to hear and be able to hear about them and be able to contact them. The rest I've pretty much covered, I think. So this board is here for your review, or report is here for your review. Any questions you may have?
I have a question. So when you identify this local nonprofit, are you going to come back to the board for approval to use them in your application?
It doesn't require us to do so. It just requires that we identify the nonprofit, they fit those characteristics, we come up with a plan to work with them, and it's incorporated into the RFP, but it doesn't require our board approval. But we
Will you bring it to the board for approval?
certainly can bring it before the board, sure.
And these agencies can also be chambers of commerce. If they're registered as a nonprofit, they must be a nonprofit agency.
That's a question that we're putting to this RFP, because there's an opportunity to ask questions. I'm not sure of that answer. I'm assuming that would be so. Because the chamber isn't, a lot of the chambers I know are nonprofits, so they might be eligible. They would have to provide some kind of service that reflects WIOA program services, like providing workshops to help people get employed, or training, or labor market information to people. So some of those chambers might fit that bill. And we have talked about the chambers.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So
Yes, please.
what is North Star Principles?
Uh,
I've never heard of such a thing.
Yes, and I don't have the specifics of that. It's in the RFP. I could get back to you on that. But they are principles that the County of Los Angeles has adopted, and they want to include in their new program designed for America's Job Centers of California. They do describe where those principles came from, but I just can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, I'm just, there's a lot of jargon that's thrown around these days. Equity, equitable outcomes. I don't know what that means. Inclusive economic growth. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. Economic mobility. I mean, this sounds like a bunch of, to me, PC kind of stuff. I just want to make sure that whatever we're doing here has some real teeth and gets to the heart of dealing with whatever the issue is, and we're just not engaging in labels, to be candid with you. In fact, when you have a chance, send me something on North Star Principles, as I've never heard of it. I'm just interested in making sure that whatever we do is meaningful and meets the needs of the people that we're serving, notwithstanding a bunch of labels that I'm looking at here. Sorry, but I'm just.
No, that's fine. I'll look at the RFP. I think they have sections in there that describe where those principles came from. But there's even paragraphs which describe each principle, but like you say, they're kind of amorphous in a way.
Yes.
It's really hard to say, how do you ensure equitable outcomes?
Exactly.
That's a challenge. That's a challenge we're facing as we respond to that question. And even though they give a definition of it, it's still hard to figure out how to exactly respond. So, but I can send you some information on it.
Yeah, if you would. I mean, our core value is to take people who need jobs and train them if we need to, and then find jobs for them that they can then partake in and make a good living and be self-sustaining. I mean, that's who we are at SASFA. And I don't care what color a person is. I don't care what gender. I don't care where they live. If they have a desire, then we want to help them. I mean, that's what SASFA is all about. And, that's when I see equitable outcomes and inclusive economic growth, I don't know what that means. I just want to take care of our people who are asking and want a job.
My feelings exactly, Joe. I wish the RFP was written more that way, because it does seem to ask for kind of a lot without really giving a lot of clarification about how to meet those goals. So
yeah, well, this is coming from the county. So Mario and Ivan, you heard what I just said. Okay. I don't know who down there in the county administration building or wherever they're at. I don't know, they're pushing this stuff, but we just want to take care of our people.
Right.
Got it. I heard you, Joe.
Yeah, thank
We'll
you.
get back to you on that.
Thank you.
And I guess one further comment I would make about this procurement is that SASSA's been providing workforce services for over 3 decades,
Right.
but SASFA has always been an agency whose mission is to get the funding and spend it on services. You know, we're not an agency that has a huge general fund. We don't profit on any of that. We don't have any profits to the agency. So the loss of this grant would be a significant blow to SASFA. So I just want to make the board aware that I have I have a good feeling we continue to get this grant because we've got it for over 30 years. But as you can see, it's somewhat of a new day too. So I think the board needs to be aware that we're going to do our best to provide the most excellent RFP response that we can and be competitive. But if it did come down to the fact that we weren't chosen, that would have pretty severe consequences for SASFA and the services it provides to your community.
Yeah, and the entity that's doing the choosing is the County of Los Angeles, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I speak to my fellow board members. Make sure they don't do us wrong, guys. Thank you.
We'll try our best.
I trust you, Ivan.
Thank you. Okay, any questions on this report? All right, the report has been received and filed. Moving on to our last item, comments by board members. So, if you don't mind, I will take a minute or so. So I think going forward, because some of the other JPs that I'm on, I think we're all required to meet in person now that the emergency declaration is over. So wanted to just, I don't think we have a council on this JPA, but I think we need to start meeting in person. Trust me, I love my Downey office, so but I don't mind going to Santa Fe Springs, but just wanted to get the board's thoughts if they've heard anything different.
Is that a
Just to
requirement?
jump in, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Mario.
I just wanted to reiterate that yeah, I think we should be in person. It's been the declaration is over, and for COVID-19, and I don't think there's a justification for us to continue meeting online like this. And it'll be nice to see everybody's faces too. And
right, because I think that from what I was told by my counsel from our other JP is that there were new rules done, but like everyone has to meet in person, and some board members only can come online. There's an option, like let's say Joe can't come to the board meeting, right? But he could, like, let's say go to Whittier City Hall and do and we could post and let people know, oh, the board members within he's within our area or region, and he's at Whittier City Hall, virtually. That's at least something like that. That's what I've been told is now allowed. But I think we can only do it so many times per year. But yeah, but I guess for our next board meeting, if we could plan a date to all meet in Santa Fe Springs.
Sure.
And then that's it. You guys have been doing a good job.
Oh, thank you.
Vice Chair Dr. Sanchez, any comments?
Sure, no, I'll just invite each of you. I haven't come across the flyer yet, but we are going to have a job fair next Saturday at Pico Park here in Pico Rivera, with the Chamber of Commerce as well and SASFA. So that doesn't mean that I don't have the flyer because it's not in my inbox somewhere, but I'll forward it to you all, or if you all have it, send it to me. I don't know if you've come across that. But let's help advertise that. And I know when we have seniors graduating from high school, summertime is a busy season for people looking for jobs, and even high schoolers that are out of school for the summer looking for summer jobs. So we're having a job fair here at Pico Park next Saturday, April 22nd.
We have a job flyer. We'll send it out.
Thank you. And I might have that in my city email somewhere buried down in under 1,000 emails.
Mr. Vinatieri, any comments? Questions?
Two things. Thank you for making me feel warm and fuzzy today, and I've talked enough.
All right, Mr. Lewis.
Nothing much, just thanks for the hard work, great report as usual, and I'm also warm and fuzzy too, so.
Mr. Rounds.
Thank you, Ivan. It's good to be back on this board. I know most of you, some of you I don't know, I've never met. Look forward to seeing you in my city next month. And it's a great organization here. I was on this board for several years earlier, and a lot of good things come out of it. So again, see everybody next month in Santa Fe Springs.
Yeah, can you provide us lunch? I'll be taking my lunch break.
Yeah.
Oh, if I remember correctly, this would be a question for Kurt. Are they going to provide lunch like they used to?
Yeah, we provide lunch.
Great.
If not, we would provide it.
I like that. That's good. You know what? Let's put it on Bill's budget.
Yes.
It doesn't hit ours, okay?
Our hosting city.
Yes. Yes.
And then finally my colleague, Mr. Ratonko, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair Solik. Again, I just want to thank the SASWA staff for all the hard work they continue doing and for compiling these very detailed comprehensive reports for us. I hope to see you all next month, hopefully in person. And also just want to announce that I am now, as of this month, a resident of the city of Whittier. So I just moved.
Oh,
Mario!
Yes, I'm in
Mario!
District 2.
Is that right? What street, Mario, what street you on?
I'm by the intersection of Pickering and Beverly Boulevard.
Okay, well, you're down the street from me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to invite you to lunch at Auntie's, okay?
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Look forward to that.
Lucky, the mayor's never invited me to lunch ever.
Well,
I just moved to the city, though.
Actually, well, that's true, and you know he can't get away from Downey. That's the problem. So,
all right. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great
Monica,
day.
you're welcome
And this
too.
meeting's adjourned at 1:07 p.m. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye. See you all.